Oh, 601. Look at that. 601. My goodness gracious.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know and young enough to do. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you. But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight? A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right. A loyal man who'll bring the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you. 'Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed? It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true. So it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you. And it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you cast your vote for Kennedy and a change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome, welcome, welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, Western Hemisphere, North American continent on this planet Earth, the only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is a rather outwardly obscure part of the Milky Way galaxy, by the way. If you want something very, very humbling, Google a picture of where our solar system is within the Milky Way galaxy. It is humbling. We are on the outskirts in a pretty, very typical nowhere part of the Milky Way galaxy, a very typical galaxy among the millions of them in our universe. By the way, there are as many stars in the Milky Way galaxy as there are grains of sand on Earth. and there are as many galaxies in the universe as there are grains of sand on this earth, and roughly between 2/3 and 3/4 of those have planets. We're not the only ones, even though we think we are so terribly, terribly important. Anyway, in this Terran solar system in the Milky Way galaxy, this is the Kennedy Effect, live with you for the 9th of November 2025. Live. No scripted here. Some would argue no preparation. Not true. Just not scripted. Just live. With you for the 9th of November. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of Ghost Claw Productions, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, the TCP Media Group, and of course our home group Facebook page for all things around our program, The Kennedy Effect, on Facebook. One YouTube channel, not enough to contain us. We need two. We are live on GCPR. I forgot to push play on the radio stations. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that craziness? I completely forgot to push play on the radio stations. It would probably help if I did that. I'm announcing the radio stations, and here I am, forgot to push play on the software to start the two radio stations. Not a great start, folks. A very inauspicious start. What did I just say before about how some people probably think I don't do any preparation whatsoever? It's not true. I swear to God I prepare for this program. I don't do the level of pre-production and preparation that other hosts do, and that other people that you will see across the internet, because I deeply believe that this program should fly a little bit by the seat of our pants, and we should be as authentic and live and unscripted and natural as humanly possible. And here I am, I forgot to push play on the radio stations, so that doesn't look very good, does it? We are live on not just one YouTube channel, but two of them. The YouTube channel for Ghost Claw Productions Radio, GCPR, and our home YouTube channel, The Kennedy Effect, on Facebook. We are live right now. The audio of the program blasts around the globe via two global internet radio stations. One of the very first, hot101.net. Our name is our web address. You can listen to us on our main website at hot101.net, HOT101.net, hot101.net. But you don't need the website to listen if you don't want to do it that way. You can use our apps, Apple App Store for Apple devices, the Google Play Store for Android devices, and the TuneIn radio app for all other types of devices that may not be Apple or Android. There are still some of them out there. The TuneIn radio app, just go up to the search bar, type in hot101.net, and you will be listening to us. You can find us. It's very simple. You can, of course, tell Alexa to play hot101.net, and you should do exactly that. And if I ever, while I am live on these airwaves, trigger your Alexa to start playing hot101.net, you must tell me, because I am a immature little child and they think it's hilarious when it happens. So somebody better tell me when that happens, because I just think it's damn funny. It's just funny. It's bloody funny that you're listening to us on a phone or Bluetoothing to a speaker or whatever it might be, and then I tell your Alexa to play hot101.net. I love it. Anyway, of course, GCPR.live carries our audio as well. For the rest of the evening, we will be with you for a minimum of an hour. We'll keep going if the conversation keeps going, but we will be with you for a minimum of an hour as we continue to get myself back into the groove of doing the program. My constant fatigue is not really improving much, even though I'm doubling up on vitamins and all these different things, which of course I forgot to take before I came up here, which is what I wanted to do and I forgot. Despite my doubling up of things like that and trying to work on a better appetite and trying to get some more energy into the system, this constant sense of exhaustion is not terribly improving. So we will be with you for a minimum of an hour. We'll keep going if the conversation provides. Following us immediately when we sign off on hot101.net, the music returns. And you should be listening to the music on hot101.net and caliente101.net. They are excellent, outstanding music venues, and you should be listening to both of them, and I hope that you will. There's a lot of hours in a week, and there's plenty of time to listen to both hot101.net and GCPR. Following us on GCPR from around 8:30 will be the pre-show for The Villain's View. They go live and full throttle from 9 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11, and your broadcast work week starts tomorrow from 8 a.m. with Thomas and the Sound of Coffee. Let's get into it. I have a guest. Holy crap. 2 weeks in a row. I got a guest. Are you kidding? Yes, she is a guest, but she's also very, very low on her CV of work experience and life experience and accomplishments and so on, is that she is my friend. It's very, very on the bottom in really, really small print. And I welcome her back to the program, and I welcome her back onto the airwaves here at GCPR, and that's Trans Gretchen. Gretchen, hello, my dear.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm well.
You can hear me? Good.
I can hear you. Thank you for being here. It's very kind of you to take some time out of your day to join us and share your thoughts with us. And I really wanted to spend the program... Well, let me start with, for perhaps any of my audience who does not remember who you are, is not familiar with you. Who are you, and how did you get here?
Who am I, and how did I get here is the question I'm often
You're often asked and don't always have an answer, or a different answer depending on a different day sometimes.
Right. I obviously haven't been on the airwaves in quite a while. I had a big move. I am now also living in a Commonwealth, only my Commonwealth is that of the Massachusetts, not Pennsylvania. Having fled the state of Ohio for safety's sake and convenience sake and other stuff. I'm actually surprised, without having done any prep, other than my poor lighting, which I'll work out eventually, that I can
Actually, I don't think it's that...
Turn the mic on.
I don't think it's bad, to be honest with you.
It's not horrible. It's kind of washing.
I really don't.
Whatever.
Yeah, a little bit, but
nobody
hey.
came to look. That's okay.
See, I don't need the lights to wash me out. I have almost no melanin whatsoever, so I could probably sit here in a dark room and I'd still glow in some weird sort of way. And it's not a natural glow. I don't want to put it that way. It's not an attractive glow, I don't think. It's just a pale Irish glow.
Well, mine is German, so no, I totally understand. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been on the radio in a while, but like I said, just trying to settle in. I've been here in Massachusetts just about 6.5, almost 7 months now. Still finding my way around.
And how has the move gone, generally speaking?
Well, the move itself was easy. Paid a bunch of guys, big strong guys, to load a truck. I downsized big time. That was probably the best thing for me, is that I got rid of 80% of the crap that I'd accumulated over the several previous years. So, and I went down to a smaller space. I've been living alone for about 8 or 9 years at that point. I have a guest now. I have a housemate. I rent a room from her, so I have a little less space, but a little more company. So that's nice.
Sometimes simpler is better.
Simpler is better, yes, very much. But
So
yeah, I probably haven't been on the air in 3 or 4 months, and the fact that everything powered on the first time, I was happy about that.
In fact, Randall mentions in the quote that it's been a long time, glad to see you well and safe in Massachusetts, and that it's very good to see you. Immediately in the chat. Randall's immediately in the chat. Let me remind you about the chat. The chat is live. It comes into me from Facebook and YouTube. We gladly welcome your comments, and especially your questions. They do help drive the program. One of the very strange things about me is, although I host this program, and so much of it, too much of it, is a monologue, so to speak, I actually do much better when people ask me questions. I tend to respond better. I tend to think a bit better. I tend to just do better when people ask questions. So if you have questions at all tonight, please make use of the chats on both Facebook and YouTube. I forgot to turn. There it is. This chair has a vibrating pad behind me right in the worst parts of my back, and I forgot to turn them on. I forgot to turn it on, and now I did turn it on, and thank goodness. I think I can sit here for a while now. But your comments and your questions do help drive the program. They contribute to the program. They're an important part of the program. This is not a lecture. You are welcomed here, and you are welcome to be part of this program. And it seems to me that really for Gretchen and I, there's really only one big topic to talk about, and I hope that you'll allow me to be a little pigeonholed here and a little perhaps overly focused, and of course we can take the conversation anywhere that it might go. And that would be the elections this past Tuesday. It was, to borrow a phrase from Stephanie Miller, it was a blue-nami. I think they're not a... that doesn't mean that there were not Republicans elected across the country. Of course there were. But in the largest, most media paid attention to races in the country, it was Democrats that won, and won by a very large margin. The gubernatorial election in New Jersey was thought to be a toss-up. Mikey Sherrill was up about 2.5 points going into Election Day and won by double digits. Virginia not only has its first female governor, but a Democrat. And the Democrats gained houses in the Virginia legislature, which is not what they call it. They call it the House of Delegates, and I think the upper chamber actually has a different name, what I'm blanking on at the moment. Increased their margins there. Democrats broke a veto-proof majority in the state of Mississippi by winning Senate seats. Not a single, not one, in the entire country, not one Moms for Liberty school board candidate won election. And those that were already sitting were turned out. This was a big deal, Gretchen. It seems to me that it was a big capital bigly deal.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And I would also just throw in there real quick, in concert with these elections that we're going to talk about, I think some Supreme Court decisions in the last week or two are something that kind of go hand in hand, especially in certain cases. Because one of the things I wanted to bring up, obviously, as a trans woman, is that Mamdani showed that being pro-trans is not a poison pill for Democrats. He ran on an openly pro-LGBT, specifically trans platform, and won handily. So, just to other Democrats out there, you don't take the bait from Republicans. No, this would not have happened in rural Texas, but
no,
come on.
No.
In New York, are we surprised? I'm not surprised.
No, and I don't think it minimizes Mamdani's win by any stretch, but I do believe that is part of the equation. This was New York City where this happened. I think there's only a handful of cities in the country where he could have been elected, and certainly have been elected by that margin. You're right. I mean, this was not going to happen in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Jackson, Mississippi, or Little Rock, Arkansas. The fact that it happened in New York is part of the equation, but I don't think it minimizes what he's accomplished. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree, because we're looking at a city that gave us America's mayor, who's since crashed out since then, but I mean,
rather spectacularly.
Giuliani was loved by everybody in 2001.
Yep.
I mean, he was a national hero, and now he's a laughingstock. So
yeah, I was going to say rather spectacularly, didn't he?
Absolutely, he did. Absolutely, he did. I mean, it's almost, it's juvenile and absurd, the turn his life has taken, and I don't understand it sometimes. But hey, they're sometimes happy to revel in their absurdity. So more power to you.
Randall asks, will we be taking phone calls? Yes, later in the program. Randall, please be patient. Probably later in the program, at least in the second half hour, if not a bit later after that. My cousin Keith reminds me that who was my guest last week, my cousin Keith. All 4 Democrats, himself and his 3 running mates, won their town council seats in my original hometown of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, which is now a blue town once again, and will be and is now democratically controlled. They still have a Republican mayor, but they now have a 4-1, I believe it is, majority on town council, so split government in my original hometown. My mother was very, very happy when I talked to her today. Pastor Clinton asks about food stamps. We will get to that. Mike Jackson tells us that he's in Mississippi and won't get his SNAP benefits as scheduled, and he's pretty ticked off. I would be too if I wasn't allowed to eat anymore. Broke after all the Social Security went to bills, but Democrats broke the GOP supermajority in Mississippi, which we mentioned before. One of the things that Mom Donnie did talk about, in addition to being unabashedly pro LGBTQ plus and trans and you know, the very word of inclusivity in this era of exclusivity, being very inclusive, was affordability. It seems to be a word that Trump just learned this week. He was very proud of himself for learning a new word called affordability.
And he doesn't want to talk about it.
And yet, right, he doesn't want to talk about it because he has nothing to do with it. The suspension, I do think the suspension, even though there were not national elections here in 2025, it seems to me that affordability and what's being done, the wholesale destruction of the federal government, which is outlined right in Project 2025, including the suspension of SNAP and TANF benefits, the ending, not just the partial destruction that we've seen so far of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, but ending those programs. It's outlined right in Project 2025. It's right there. And that even though so many of these elections were local, county, school board, of course we had the governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia, affordability and what has the wholesale destruction of the federal government was on the ballot on Tuesday. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, going back to what I talked about moving to Massachusetts, I mean, I moved from a red state to a blue state. While everything is expensive for everybody everywhere, I mean, I arguably moved to a place that is more expensive than where I came from, and I live in a town in Massachusetts that is more expensive than most other towns that are in the state or the Commonwealth, however you want to refer to it, but it's the same. What gets me though is that I couldn't afford to continue living in Ohio by myself. I was already getting help from family just to stay in the apartment that I had, which was a small, modest 2-bedroom apartment, just so I could have my kids over and they had their own rooms to sleep in without, having to bunk up with everybody. So this was as much a safety move for me as it was a financial move, because I need the roommate. I'm 50 some years old. I still have to have a roommate just so I can pay my bills and have some money left over. So yes, it was absolutely about affordability. And I think that's on everybody's minds. And I think as much as Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about it, it's on everybody's minds for next year as well. We'll just have to see what they're going to do to try and stop that. Because they're working to head us off the path. They've been doing it for...
On Friday evening, the regime went before the Supreme Court to have the court sign off on the fact that it does not want to pay SNAP benefits. The regime was ordered by a lower federal court to use the emergency fund to pay SNAP benefits. And even then it would be partial. The administration is actively working for judicial clearance, judicial approval. I'm not sure what the right word is, to be honest. To not pay even those minimum or partial benefits. This administration is actively working, folks. They're actively working to starve 40 plus million people and deny them food. In addition, or included in that group of number six, in that group of folks, 16 million children. And this is outlined in Project 2025. It's right in there. These programs, they don't want to just cut these programs. They want to end them. Because the more desperate you become, the more angry you become, the more angry you become with each other, and you lose your focus on what's going on in a federal government when you don't understand how it works, but also when you're so worried about simply feeding yourself and your family. You don't really pay attention to the news very much. You're simply trying to figure out how to make it, how to get by, how to feed yourselves, how to keep a roof over your head.
And let's not forget to add in that not only did the Supreme Court permit the Trump administration to stop sending SNAP benefits, the administration ordered this morning that any states that are doing it on their own to immediately stop and undo any actions they've taken to pay those SNAP benefits on a state level.
Remember when Republicans believed in
penalty.
Remember when Republicans believed in states' rights?
Yeah.
And I thought states were the great incubators of democracy. I thought they were the places where things were tried and tested before they reached the federal level. In the chat, Bettina mentions she's in West Virginia. She did not get her SNAP benefits as of yet either. I hope everyone will say hi to George in the chat. George is not with us this evening, but he is listening. I hope you'll say hi to him in the chat as well. Randall mentions that in Brookhaven Borough, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, swept out a Republican mayor and 4 borough council persons right out the door to be replaced by all Democrats. When you woke up, Gretchen, on Wednesday morning, I mean, how did you feel? Was it a kind of a deep breath of like, oh, thank goodness, or a more rousing sort of like, yeah, take that, darn it, kind of thing? I mean, what? Because I know mine was a little bit of both. Mine was a little bit of, oh, thank goodness, and a little bit of like, you know what? We're alive and we're kicking and we got some hope here. Bring it. Can't wait for next November. I mean, what were you thinking?
I am cautiously optimistic. I've seen too many things happen that are bad, especially things I predicted would happen. When people told me, "Oh, you're just overreacting. You're being melodramatic. These things will never happen." You know, all the people that tell me that, oh, again, the trans issues and stuff like that, the things I said would happen, you're like, no, they can't do that, are happening. So, yes, I'm excited. I'm not maybe as optimistic as some other people, especially considering the fact, again, I'm in Massachusetts. When I vote next year in the midterms, I'm not worried.
Right.
Because Massachusetts is often used as an example when we look at the 2024 elections of, look at the 2 states. There's one that voted all red, where every district went all red, and another where every district went all blue. I am in the state where every district went blue. Every district went for Kamala Harris. Versus Oklahoma, which every district went red.
Right.
To Trump. So
I posted.
Some would argue.
I posted in a Facebook group this week, folks. You will have to scroll back to find it. I think I posted it either Wednesday or Thursday. We often look at these county maps of the United States, and we see the red counties v. the blue counties, and it looks very overwhelming. It makes it look like this is a not just a Republican nation, but a fascist nation. And then again, we do have
These
a
are counties with 3 people.
Then again, we do have a fascist government. But then there's a map right underneath it that shows you where all the people live by color, and it becomes a largely white map because that's all the empty space where literally no one lives. And then your very large blue dots at all the big cities, West Coast states, East Coast states, and some dots.
Your urban areas,
Right.
areas, because some people would argue that I could have done more for the fight had I stayed in Ohio, a state that traditionally, at least up through Obama, was purple. It could have gone either way. Ohio went to Obama twice, and then easily fell to Trump. 3 times. But I also lived in the largest city in Ohio that was very, very blue, very, very inclusive. So again, I wasn't really doing anything there to help. I was just going with the flow. I didn't have to worry about people in Columbus voting red. So again, I could have probably done more if I lived in a rural area in Ohio. But I don't. I like to climb mountains, but I'm not trying to live in the cornfields.
And try not to be buried under one too. I mean,
That too.
I mean, you also can't do anything for a movement if you're not upright and breathing and with us either. And that's a genuine concern for you. And it activism is nice, but you can't do any of it if you're not breathing. But anyway, Bettina mentions, I think voting at the local... Whoops. Oh, wow, that just jumped on me. Sorry. I think voting at the local level is just as important because if you do good for the community, it works its way up. Randall, of course, agreeing and saying that we have to keep up... Democrats must keep up the fight every day against Trump and his fascist government, and it is indeed that. We made it halfway through the program already. How about that? It's 6:31 p.m. Time for me to reset. Couldn't even tell. Time flies when you're having so much freaking fun, aren't you?
Right, exactly.
Getting back into the groove. Gretchen just trying to get back into the groove. I'm so exhausted. I can't stand it.
Me too. You're a little more in the groove than I am.
Oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I can't stand it.
On radio or a podcast in 3 or 4 months. It's been a while.
Well, that doesn't mean... Let this be a new beginning then. How about that? 6:32. This is the Kennedy Effect live with you for the 9th of November, 2025. We're discussing, of course, the odd year election results. My guest is Gretchen, live from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Commonwealths, I guess, would be the plural. Meeting together here via the Kennedy Effect live with you for the 9th of November. We are live on the Facebook pages of the TCP Media Group, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, Ghost Claw Productions, and we are live on our home group Facebook page for all things that surround the program, the Kennedy Effect on Facebook. We are live on 2 YouTube channels. Oh, and I've shared the program to, I think, easily over 100 different places across the Facebook universe. And to all the folks, and I mean this as sincerely as I possibly can, to every single Facebook group that allows us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe. I got an itchy nose. I'm going to get in a fight or kiss a fool. You ever hear that one? Did you ever hear that old one?
I have never.
I got an itchy nose. Supposedly it means you're going to get in a fight or kiss a fool. But I don't know. Kristen married me, but I don't think she's a fool. But to all the groups, literally every single one, every group that allows us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe, groups large, small, local, countywide, regional, statewide, national, international, thank you for allowing us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe. We could not do it without you. We appreciate every single one of you. There are groups there that are based on politics, groups that are based on podcasting, groups based on live radio and YouTube accounts. I love it. I'm glad that you are allowing us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe. Thank you so very much, and we appreciate it very much. So we are on all those pages that I mentioned, our home group Facebook page, The Kennedy Effect on Facebook, and 100 other places that we've shared the program to tonight. 1 YouTube channel, not enough to contain my massive ego. We're on 2, GCPR. The YouTube channel for GCPR, GCPR.live. Go to YouTube, search GCPR, you'll find us. Even better, become a subscriber, and you will always be alerted every time that we are live. Not just me, but everyone across the station. And we are live on the home for this program on YouTube. It's called The Kennedy Effect on YouTube. Very, very simple. You want to find us on Facebook, The Kennedy Effect on Facebook. You want to find us on YouTube, The Kennedy Effect on YouTube. You will find us. You can become a subscriber there as well. The audio of the program blasts around the globe via hot101.net. Hot101.net, our name is our web address. Hot101.net. Go to the website. Find out everything you ever wanted to know about hot101.net. You can listen there as well and listen for free. You can also listen through our apps, Apple App Store for Apple devices, the Google Play Store for Android devices, and the TuneIn Radio app for any other type of device. You can tell Alexa to play hot101.net as well. GCPR.live, GCPR.live. You can use our Android app to listen as well, and if you go to our main website, you can listen through there and learn everything you ever wanted to know about the station, and we hope that you will. And to all these different social media places, please, 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 here's your call to action. I gotta make it. It's all part of the business. Like, share, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. I've actually remembered to do TikTok promotional videos for my program 2 straight weeks, which is actually a very big deal for me because I generally forget to do them. But like, follow, subscribe, share, all of it. We hope that you'll do all of it for hot101.net, for the Kennedy Effect, and GCPR as well. Following us on hot101.net, the music returns. On GCPR, the Villains View pre-show starts from around 8:30, 8:40, 8:45, live and full throttle from 9. Teen Nathan, conversations with Teen Nathan from 11. The broadcast work week starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. with the sound of coffee and Thomas. What was your big takeaway from election night, other than just a sense of relief and, you know, Democrats sweeping everything? What was the, well, I know you mentioned Mamdani, but is there something else, anything else that may have popped out at you that to think to yourself, that was a big one?
Maybe that some of the people who were adamantly voting red up until this election are starting to see that they were wrong. I mean, for years we've been telling them, they just keep repeating lies that are spoon-fed to them, and they say it enough until they believe it, or they just don't care that it's false. But we're starting to see these people. Now, I'm not cheering for this, but we're starting to see people that voted for Trump and his administration and other people that he's endorsed are starting to suffer from his policies. We've seen it with farmers. We've seen it, now we're seeing it with the millions of people who require food assistance in this country. And those are just a handful of things. You know, we could sit here and go down a laundry list of things that he's doing to harm people because he's only in it for a small group of people. And the thing I wish people would see is that to stop putting these billionaires on pedestals, that the majority of us are never going to be billionaires. He's only in it for his popularity club, his little clique, and we're not going to sit at their table. He will sacrifice us for them.
We are not temporarily inconvenienced billionaires.
No, they want to,
and we're not going to be.
Permanent disenfranchisement.
If you are one of these billionaires, you're supposedly educated and smart, and those are two different things, by the way. And you run your company and you run your hedge fund and companies that produce things, Apple, the big car companies, even Nvidia, they produce a product. If enough people are so broke that you can't afford that product, I don't know how you make money anymore. These billionaire hedge fund managers rely on constant reinvestment into the hedge fund, new investment into the hedge fund. But if we're all broke, you can't invest into the hedge fund. I've never understood the idea of making... There's roughly, I think it's between 600 and 800 billionaires in this country, in a country of 330 million. The three richest men in this country have the same wealth as the bottom 60% of the country. The billionaires, all added up around the globe, have as much wealth as the bottom 2/3 of the planet. If we are all so desperate and broke, how do billionaires stay billionaires?
I'm still trying to figure that one out, but look at some of the things that Trump is proposing, or some of the things that we do on a regular basis. We live in a world where we lease our phones like cars. You get it on your phone plan, you pay it off over 3 years, then you trade it in on a new phone. Trump is proposing 50-year mortgages. If I got a 50-year mortgage today, I'll be dead before it matures. So I mean,
I'll be gone before my 30-year is paid off. So I'm not worried. Yeah, I mean, to a point, I don't worry about that all that much. I get your point, though. These are
not solutions. They're further enslavements, in my opinion. They trap us into these things, and we can't fight. Everyone says eat the rich, but who's actually sharpening their knives and getting the forks out and buttering, putting oil in the skillet? Who is doing something? It's these people that won these elections, and we have to keep that momentum going.
Who's telling the people who are telling us to eat cake to go eat cake? I mean, to me, is one way to look at it from my point of view. Do you mind if I tell people that the phone works?
No.
All right, Randall, because I know you're waiting patiently. Phone line is open. Bettina mentions in the chat, 50-year mortgage you're basically renting. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Home ownership really is one of the great economic... I was going to say equilators, but I'd be making a word.
My 50-year mortgage is the fact that I'm 51 years old and I'm renting from somebody who has a mortgage. Here's my 50 years.
Phone line is open, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. Phone line is open as requested. The phone line is open. I told you I'd open it probably in the second half hour. Here it is, 6:42 Eastern Time, 42 past the hour, and the phone line is open, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. As a resident of Massachusetts, do you think Massachusetts should be looking into congressional redistricting to counter the redistricting that's going on in red states?
I don't know if it's necessary. I haven't dived as deep into it as I could have yet. I wasn't able to get my license converted yet in time for this election, so I was not able to vote. I couldn't register in time. And I'm still working on getting my credentials transferred over to Massachusetts. But as far as I can tell, yes, I mean, there's still... Do you have a call coming in?
Yeah, go ahead, Randall.
Hey, hi, Gretchen. Long time no see you. I'm glad you're back on the web. And I'm glad you're safe up in Massachusetts. And
Doing well.
Getting back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just said doing well.
Oh, okay. And Jeff.
Yes, sir.
It was a blowout. More than the previous blue waves during Trump's 1.0. My old township north of Brookhaven Borough, where I live now, and lived for 22 years and was committee air for 22 years. Every office went to Democrats. council, constable, school board, still 100% Democrats. So it was just incredible what happened on Tuesday. And when I read McKinney Effect, when you published that the Moms for Liberty had lost every office person, seeker, and thrown out across the country.
Yep.
I was just, I shared that on my Facebook page.
And just to clear up what Randall's talking about, if you might have missed it, every Moms for Liberty endorsed candidate for school board across the country. Look, in a country of 330 million people, to have an absolute of anything, you can't get 330 million people to agree that the grass is green and the sky is blue. To have an absolute of anything is just monumental. It is historic. The reporting that I saw, and if I'm wrong, if somebody else wants to find an article and try and correct me, please do so. Because when I'm wrong, I want to be corrected. I want to learn right along with the rest of you. But in the reporting that I saw from MSNBC and ABC, every single Moms for Liberty supported school board candidate in the country, every one of them lost.
No.
That's what I saw. That's the reporting that I saw. Every one of them across the country lost. Every Moms for Liberty candidate. And good numbers of them were turned out. Randall, you will know, of course, there were a good number of Moms for Liberty candidates that were operating on school boards throughout Bucks County. They were all turned out. They were all turned out.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they were all turned out. The county sheriff who was complicit with ICE was voted out. You had a clean sweep in Virginia of the statewide races and gains in the legislature there. This was a complete... You had Prop 50. You had people wait in line for hours in California to vote for Proposition 50. They had never had such high turnout. They set a record for turnout for a single issue election. The only thing on the ballot in California, it was literally the only thing, was Proposition 50. Should they redistrict their congressional districts midterm to counteract what was being done in Texas? And that passed with flying colors. All the Supreme Court, all of the Democratic judges that were up for retention here in Pennsylvania were retained. The two open ones were won by Democrats. I mean, this was a blowout. After, by the way, our resident Pennsylvania billionaire spent millions of dollars trying to get those justices voted out. This was a sweep across the country, and I can only hope that it is foreboding of what is to come in 2026. We'll have elections in 2026. I'm convinced we will. I still don't know if they'll be free, open, and fair, but I know that we'll have them. So, anyway, Randall, go ahead. I kind of stepped all over you there, but go ahead.
That's fine. No. What was I going to say about Pennsylvania? Oh yeah, I was going to. Yeah, we swept the 3 retention votes here for judges voting yes, vast majority. The 1 Superior Court Democratic judge in the state, and the 1 Commonwealth judge, Democratic judge in the state. All were voted 10 years retention as justices, and then we won 2 more open seats in the general primary. I mean the general election on the ballot. So yeah, Pennsylvania. What I found interesting about Tuesday night, Jeff, is every county in Virginia leaned higher votes leaning left.
Right.
And every county in New Jersey every county leaning blue.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a lot of red counties in Virginia, and there's quite a few, like Cape May County in New Jersey, but
there are quite a few, yeah, a good number. Burlington, Salem, Gloucester,
right.
yeah.
But again, it was all pushing blue across the state, the Pennsylvania and into New York. So it's like just a wipeout, and I'm so glad. But we obviously can't give. We have to keep fighting every day. The end chapters of setting up a complete dictatorship in this country are in Project 2025. And that's the goal.
Yep.
That's the goal of why the Heritage Foundation spent years writing it. That's why so many millionaires, multimillionaires, and a billionaire or two are in charge of our federal government now, that wrote chapters on specific issues and were made like secretaries, undersecretaries. And of course, J.D. Vance wrote the foreword to Project 2025. And yet,
I believe
the biggest lie of the 2024 presidential election was Trump saying he knew nothing about it.
I believe it's 2/3 of the cabinet are actually billionaires.
Yeah.
The cabinet,
ridiculous.
The cabinet is worth several $100 billion.
As far as the
Collectively.
Liberty thing, too, I just want to throw this out there. I'm finding some conflicting reports. I'm hearing that there were 31 total endorsed candidates that all lost. Another article says 59, but these aren't even articles. These are memes and posts on social media. There's one article I see from WRIC ABC 8 News out of Melbourne, Florida, stating that 17 Moms for Liberty endorsed candidates nationwide did win their respective thing.
Yeah, see, that's the reporting I saw is that they were an 0 for 0 for the usual
but I'm not
sports.
Finding an article to confirm.
Yeah,
I'm just finding Facebook memes, and social media posts.
Right.
So I can't verify.
And Moms for Liberty suffered losses in Florida as well.
Yeah, it needs.
And
more
in Texas,
for sure.
Right.
And Florida is where Moms for Liberty started.
Right. Exactly. And the Texas State School Board, the Moms for Liberty people all lost there, is the reporting that I had seen as well. So it was a bad night for Moms for Liberty. Not that breaks my heart in any way, shape, or form, but it was a bad night for them.
Not at all.
And doesn't break my heart at all. But so Randall, before I let you go and open up the phone line here, do you feel more optimistic now? Or you have a newer, not new, maybe not new is not the right word to use, but a renewed sense of optimism, even though we still have an awful lot of work to do?
I definitely have more optimism than pessimism now after Tuesday, and what I saw, and talking to friends across the country, in North Carolina and Kansas, and family across the country and stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely more optimistic. But
good.
Yeah.
There's a long way to go.
I was thinking for a while we wouldn't have midterm elections in 2026. But yeah, we're going to have them. But again,
whether they will
so many tricks are being played by the Republican Party, now the Trump Party. So many tricks are being played on voter suppression, on gerrymandering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if we're going to have a fair election, as you said earlier.
Right.
But I'm going to let you go, Jeff. Gretchen Have a great life up in Massachusetts, my man.
Thank you so much.
My lady.
Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it.
Don't worry,
All right.
she'll be back to visit us.
I hope so. All right, Gretchen. All right, Jeff.
Thanks so much,
And
Randall.
George listening in. God bless you all, folks.
Thanks so much. You take care of yourself down there, okay? You sound good.
Yeah, I got to go for under general anesthesia tomorrow to do a test for surgery I got a week from tomorrow,
Well, we will be thinking about you.
and hopefully that goes okay.
It'll go fine. It'll go fine. Stay positive. It'll go fine. It'll
All
be
right,
fine.
bro.
We'll be thinking about you, all right?
I love you all.
All right.
Good night.
You take care of yourself. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. Bettina mentions in the chat, I told you, if you put stuff in the chat, I'm going to reference it. And especially if you have questions for me, we're going to talk about it. That the only seats, Bettina mentions in the chat, Gretchen, that the only seats that Mom for Liberty won were the ones where they were uncontested. And that any time that a Moms for Liberty candidate was contested throughout the country, they lost.
Okay, that makes more
So
sense.
that does make more sense, yeah. Because when you get, you can't get uniformity in a country of 330 million about, like I said, about, you can't get 330 million people to agree that 2 and 2 is 4. So,
Had they lost all of their contested elections, I would be more optimistic,
that's what
because that would really be saying something.
Bettina's sort of implying here from her research, is that they lost all their contested races. The only ones they won were uncontested. And it is a shame.
I mean, saying had everyone been contested,
Right,
the ones that weren't contested, if that they actually had Democratic challengers.
They'd actually had challengers. So it's a shame that in the United States in 2025 that we have open seats like that. It's a shame. In no time, perhaps since the creation of the Department of Education in this country, has it been more important to be a school board member, because the Department of Education is no longer functional. All it does is collect student loan debt. Your school board is exceptionally important right now, because they're going to have to figure out how to keep your school districts going without federal support. How special needs students are going to be taken care of, how these districts are going to be funded, all of it. Your school boards are going to have to figure all of that out without any federal assistance whatsoever. This was the most important school board elections probably in the history of school board elections since the establishment of public schools to start with. This past Tuesday may have been the single most important school board elections you may ever live through.
And go to the website runforsomething.net. You can sign up on there. It will show you all the elections across the country. It will show you the uncontested seats.
And they will help you. And they will help you run. Right.
Yeah,
and
they will guide you through the process, help you get endorsements, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could start super small. And the whole school board thing makes me wonder as well. I mean, has that got something to do with the rights being so adamant about getting rid of the Department of Education?
Oh yeah.
You get rid of that, you get rid of the school boards.
You have to justify billionaires' tax cuts somehow. You cut spending, so you cut spending on education. An educated electorate is, Republicans Republicans fear an educated electorate. 267-227. Exactly. Yeah, Republic if you can keep it. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. We've got a couple minutes left, unless the phone rings, and we'll keep it going, keep the discussion going. But did you take, I think we not forgot, so to speak, but it is interesting that in Virginia, it wasn't just Governor-elect Spanberger, but won the Attorney General race, won the Lieutenant Governor's race, increased the margins in both the House and Senate in Virginia, and now Virginia will be looking at redistricting in Virginia as they should. I think New Jersey should be looking at it as well. in addition to the other states. If Republicans want to fight this redistricting war, blue states are where all the people are. I think you may not, be careful what you wish for, but I also think we have to have the guts to fight that fight. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that. And I'm actually trying to find out if Massachusetts is planning to do any redistricting, because all the focus was on Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then California, did their Prop 50. But I mean, don't forget that other states like Ohio and Missouri and I don't know,
right.
Wisconsin, one of them.
Wisconsin has a Democratic governor, so I think, but they do still have the Republican legislature, so they won't be able to get anything accomplished there because the governor will never sign it. The Republicans can do redistricting, but the governor will never sign it. Indiana was one that was under pressure to redraw. Missouri was another one that was under pressure to redraw. Florida is looking at ways to redraw, although I don't know how it's so gerrymandered to start with. North Carolina is looking at it.
Pritzker who brought up the potential for Illinois?
Pritzker did bring up
in favor of blue districts.
Yes. California will, because Prop 50 has passed. I think Oregon should look at it. Washington should look. Massachusetts should look. Connecticut should look. New York is going to be looking at it. That'll be I think that will be something that comes up in New York in this gubernatorial race. They have a governor's election in 26. So redistricting, I think, will be quite the topic there, as it should be. We can't keep bringing water balloons to a war zone. Whether it's right or not, I know this redistricting fight brings a lot of different thoughts to a lot of different people about we shouldn't sink so low and we should be better than that and all. The redistricting in red states is going to happen. We can't stop it. The least we can do is stand up to it and do the same thing, it would seem to me. And it would seem to me that that's what people are looking for. The energy and fight that Mamdani showed in New York is what people have been looking for. Would you, or at least what folks who are left leaning, and certainly an awful lot of independents, it's what they've been looking for. Would you agree?
Yeah. No one else has had the guts to do anything. And that's what I really keep saying is that, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, and I'm not the only one, that just Democrats can't, like you said, can't bring a knife to a gunfight. It just doesn't work. We've got to get more aggressive. I know there's a lot of focus on Newsom right now, especially as a potential 2028 candidate for the presidency. But I mean, I don't think he's enough. He's a good troll. I mean, yeah, his Twitter account is funny. But,
it's biting. It's more than funny. It's biting. He's living rent free in Trump's head.
Oh, absolutely. But he's not necessarily, in my opinion, he doesn't excite me as a trans person, especially after some of his comments on podcasts recently. And then also given the fact that, Mamdani's doing the only thing Democrats can do is fight from these local elections, these smaller elections. We can't fight the Supreme Court, who basically just, they're allowing Trump to enact a travel ban. I cannot leave the country. And if I could, it would be very difficult to get back without being harassed or it's ridiculous.
Or just flat out detained.
Right. And to be told, to hear the Supreme Court say something like, well, we don't really see how this is damaging anybody. But let me tell you, I'm a non-op trans person. And when I go through the body scanners at an airport and the little red light comes on, I'm getting a pat down in front of everybody. Okay? Tell me that's not at least humiliating. I can handle it. Even people who misgender me, I often say, call me whatever you want. Just don't call me Lady Cat. But there's a lot of people that aren't as resilient as I am. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be. This is a travel ban. It's unconstitutional, and it is causing damage. So, but we can't fight them. They're the top. What do you do when the Supreme Court does something? You can't do anything. So I say keep the fight up, keep being optimistic, get more Democratic candidates in there, start local, work our way up. And and I'm going to say it out loud, when we get the majority back in Washington, expand the court and the filibuster and just bring the big guns.
I've heard nobody else talk about it in this way. I've heard people talk about increasing the court to 11 or 13 or maybe even 15. I would increase the court to 39.
There you go.
And
Nice.
but
It
here's
should
the
be more than
but
7
here
or 8.
but here's the caveat. Whenever a case was to come before the Supreme Court that they decide to take, a majority of that 39, 50% plus 1, would have to agree to take on a case. And when they agree to take on a case, they pull feathers out of a hat. The first 9 justices are the 9 that sit on that particular case. 9 out of 39. The other 30 are relegated to either different cases or no cases whatsoever. Numbers out of a hat. A random 9 justices. 39 total justices, but only a random 9 at any given can sit and talk, or can sit in judgment on any one particular case. If one judge is lucky and they keep pulling their number, well, then you're going to have a busy court. You're going to have a busy season. Somebody doesn't get their number pulled at all, well, you're working for free. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. Hey,
Sounds
something
like jury duty. I mean, I know people that have gotten picked like dozens of times. I've never once. And I've been voting and a registered voter since I was 18 years old. You know, I ran right out the door and voted for Bill Clinton in 1992. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I've never once even nifted. So, that would be funny. It'd be interesting.
Lewis asks in the chat, how about impeaching those justices who lied? Not a single chance of that happening under the current circumstances. Democrats could certainly try to bring those impeachment charges. They're not going to go anywhere. It's not just about the ones who lied, but it's about the ones who've been bought and paid for. You know, just Google Justice Thomas and his debts and gifts that he's accepted, the gifts that Alito has accepted.
Alito and Thomas are the big ones for sure.
Google Kavanaugh and how he was in debt several $100,000. And that debt simply disappeared as soon as he got nominated. It just disappeared. It was all paid off and went away. Just have a Google on that. Have a search on that, although I continue to recommend DuckDuckGo because they don't trace your search history. But have a look at that. Hey, something that I wanted to bring up before we end up, since the phone is quiet here, maybe 7:15 we'll get to. I saw an exit poll Tuesday night while watching coverage on MSNBC that roughly 2/3 of voters that were driven to the polls, not just how they voted, but they were motivated to go to the polls because of the images of the destruction of the East Wing of the White House. I continue to be fascinated at how visceral of a reaction the American people are having to the tearing down of the East Wing. I'm not happy about it either. I think it was illegal. It's a done deal now. It's gone. There's nothing that can be done about it. This ballroom is going to be built.
Wrong room.
It was illegal. Arguably, I wouldn't say that. Arguably unconstitutional because this ballroom supposedly is going to be paid for by private funds, although I doubt that. By the time it's all said and done, it'll be $1 billion by the time it's all said and done.
It's going to be more than the $230 million price tag they put on it.
But that 2/3 of people who were driven out to vote were driven by, and this was an exit poll on MSNBC. That exit poll may have changed throughout the course of the night. I did not stay up till 3 a.m. watching all the exit polling, but at the time that I saw the exit poll, 60+% of people said that they were voting because they were motivated by the images of the destruction of the East Wing of the White House. I'm not here to judge what gets people out to vote or not get them to vote. Well, I might judge what gets them not to vote. I'm not here to judge what gets people to vote. But does that surprise you? That something like that would be so motivating to folks?
It does surprise me because I'm going to give you my unpopular opinion. If it was illegal, yes, something should be done. And I would love nothing more than to see whether it's justices or politicians. I mean, Trump didn't pay any penalties for his 34 felonies and stuff like that. But when it comes to the destruction of the East Wing of the White House, I don't care. I was not affected by it. I was like, whatever. It's Trump doing his thing. I was no more affected by it other than me just kind of lip curling when I saw the gold trim in the Oval Office.
Oh,
I don't have any particular
lots of
sentimentality. Yeah, I don't have any particular sentimentality.
And lots of
those symbols. I want to see what we're doing for people, not a building. If he wants to build his throne room or ballroom or whatever, I mean, aren't you really going to have balls there? What are they really going to do there? I don't think it's a ballroom. I've heard the conspiracies. It's an expansion of the bunker that's already there.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that too.
I don't know what it is. I don't think it's just a ballroom, but it certainly doesn't pass. It doesn't surprise me. In fact, it's just another serving his ego. Just like he wants the Washington Commanders Stadium to be named after him. He wants everyone to remember who he is, even long after he's gone. And I don't know, just go out and vote. Whatever gets you out there to vote. If the White House being torn, the East Wing being torn down, gets you in a voting booth and votes, in the best interest of the people of this country, please go do it. Light that fire and run to the polls. Do it. I just don't care. I was unmoved by the pictures of the East Wing being invaded.
Well, 7-Eleven. I think I am about run out of thoughts, to be honest with you. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to get to?
No, I think I covered everything. If anything, I could just leave it on something we've kind of talking about. Is you got a phone call?
I do. Can I answer it fast enough before it goes away? Mike Jackson, say hi to Gretchen.
Hi, Gretchen. Bringing up that White House demolition thing, just a couple of quick hits on it. Did you catch the news that the company that did the demolition did not get paid? Reports that they are considering suing the administration because they didn't get paid yet for demolishing it.
I did not hear anything like that.
I did not hear that, but that doesn't shock me. I mean, for those of us who lived, I don't obviously live there anymore, but lived in the New York metropolitan area, we knew who Trump was since the 90s. We knew this. He was union busting. He didn't pay for nearly any work done on any of his properties, but yet people continued to line up at the possibility of making money. He stiffed contractors all over the city, especially small contractors and especially single proprietorships. He screwed them all. So why he would pay this company, I have no idea. Maybe it's dumb enough. Maybe they were dumb enough to do it. Maybe they got what they deserved because they were dumb enough to take work from him, knowing full well that he doesn't pay anybody. But I hadn't heard that. It's interesting. It's not surprising in any way, shape, or form. But it's... I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody should be surprised by it. And the company that took the bid and took the job, maybe they should have known his payment history or lack thereof. Maybe it's karma for destroying the White House.
I found that interesting. One of the things that kind of came and went since I talked to you 2 weeks ago was the House of Dynamite movie sort of came and went.
I didn't get to see it yet. I remember you telling me about it. I did not get to see it yet, so please don't
no spoilers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Although I will bring up the fact that in the film, the president is not at the White House. He's out on I think somewhere in I want to say Virginia or something like that. So the White House Situation Room, which is located in that bunker right underneath the demolished building, plays part in that film. And there's a moment in the film where I think it's the Deputy National Security Advisor is going down their checklist, and he says, we have to alert some fort, like Fort Deredick or Fort Meade or something, about who's here in the Situation Room. And another person in there, another official asks, why? He says, because if we get hit, they'll have to dig us out. So I wonder if there is some stuff going on to make that deeper. Although, other than the pictures of the demolition, I haven't seen any excavation photos going up. Although the media may be blacked out from covering stuff like that. But it would be interesting to know if, before they build the ballroom, that they will do a deeper excavation and bury whatever the current Situation Room is even deeper under the White House.
Well,
the other thing that struck me today, and nobody brought it up, was that Trump is also trying to bribe everybody now after the big loss on Tuesday. He's claiming he's going to send everybody a $2,000 tariff refund check.
Right.
And
right.
I wonder what people are thinking about that. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, I can tell.
Desperately take it, and
I can tell you quickly. $2,000 for everybody in the country is roughly $600 billion. We haven't brought in that much money in tariff. It's only been about $230 billion that's been brought in. So not only would he be giving away all the money that's been brought in so far, you'd have to not even just double it, but which is only 460. You'd have to do it by 2/3. Increase it by dump another 440-ish billion dollars onto the national debt to send everybody a $2,000 check. I wouldn't hold my breath.
There was another story I saw that the Fed had pumped billions into the banking system this past week, and I scanned it and read it, and I've had just trying to keep the lights on and bills paid and come up with some more money because everybody wants money out of me, utility-wise. But I didn't really get to see that or the details.
I didn't see that either. That's news to me. I'll have to look at that one.
And
it's something where
Josh
those
Hawley,
are three things that kind of strike me as counter things to try to bribe his way back into popularity with everything that's been proven to be thinking about his popularity
right
with the elections. But anyway, those are three things I thought I'd bring up that I saw this past week. And I'll let you go because I know you're fatigued. And
I am. I got to be honest with you. I really am. Just being honest. Gretchen, go ahead. You were saying something about Josh Hawley.
I just wanted to finish off on Mike. Is that our caller's name?
That's Mike. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. I just wanted to sort of kind of add to that. Bear in mind, over the summer, Josh Hawley tried to introduce a bill that would send $600 tariff rebates around the country. I don't know where that went. It certainly didn't come to my pocket. I'm still waiting for my $5,000 Doge check, which never materialized either. But something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump can say that stuff, but it would likely have to go through Congress. If they couldn't get a $600 rebate check through, I don't see how we're going to get $2,000. Even though he says most Americans, he's not going to give that check to the highest paid Americans. We'll see about that.
Bettina mentions in the chat, would that money not go to the importers? Well, eventually,
Eventually,
One
yes.
place where trickle-down economics works is tariffs. They are paid by the consumer. The importers may pay on the initial entry of the good into the country, but they're passing that cost on to all of us.
To the retailers,
so
to
really,
the transporters.
yeah. So I assure you that if the Supreme Court rules that these tariffs unconstitutional, or that not within the power purview of the presidency, the importers will line up first to get that money back. We will never see it. You and I will never see it. In fact, I would hesitate a bet that the price increases that we have seen because of tariffs, even if the Supreme Corporation was to rule them unconstitutional, those prices will stay exactly where they are. Don't expect the prices of everything to be falling off the cliff just because the Supreme Court decides that these tariffs are unconstitutional. I wouldn't hold my breath. I wouldn't hold my breath. And Donna mentions in the chat that Josh Hawley is just talking big. He's afraid he's going to lose his seat. Well, from your lips to God's ears, Donna, if any state was so undeserving of a senator like Josh Hawley, it's Missouri. But then again, you keep voting for him. Sometimes you get the government you deserve, and that's not a shot at Donna in any way, shape, or form. I don't mean it that way. Sometimes you get the government you deserve. You keep returning these people to Congress. What is it? 93+% of incumbents in Congress are returned to Congress. Everybody dislikes Josh Hawley. They know what a fake he is. They know what a fraud he is, but they keep sending him back. So, I'm not sure what else to say.
Own. Like people, I heard Nancy Pelosi's going to retire, and I was like, finally. Even our own. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's going to be replaced by somebody who's, on the left-ish.
Oh, San Francisco, absolutely.
Yeah. but it's just like all of you. Thank you. I mean, you're 84 years old.
Yeah.
Nancy. I hate to sound ageist, but I mean, come on, please.
Yeah.
And get some of these other ones. That Cruz, he's got to go. Lindsey Graham, get him out of here.
I am generally not a fan of the idea of term limits, but
really,
I gotta say, sometimes I tend to think it's the only way some of these people get moved on. These positions were never meant to be full-time jobs, and they were never meant to be lifetime positions. And the number of folks that you see that have been there for 10 and 20 and 30, and some of them for 40 plus years. It's just not how it was meant to be. And
no, weren't they supposed to go to Washington, pass legislation,
and go home and go
back to
farm?
Their districts to their real
yeah, or go home and go farming from the beginning of the country. Yeah. Are you still there, Mike? I've been talking over you the whole time.
No, I was just listening. The one thing I would say, take hope from the fact that I think it's a quarter of a century of a supermajority by the Republicans in Mississippi was broken on Tuesday.
Yes. Yep, we mentioned that early on in the program. Yeah, that's a big deal.
If a deep red state like this, and we're kind of like sort of 2/5, 3/5, with the Republicans being the 3/5 majority and 2/5 of us being Democrats here. I mean, I'm sure when you look at these super deep red states that you perceive them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Every friend I have here locally is Democrat,
right.
Except for the neighbors on the road who told me. I had a neighbor that told me, I think I've told this story before, told me I shouldn't put an Obama sign in my yard when he ran for re-election in 2012. And I said, why is that? He said, something bad will happen to your property.
Mm.
I said, are you threatening me, dude? Because you're the first person you better make sure you get me too, because, that's war. And that guy died because he wouldn't wear a mask in the 2020 COVID.
In a pandemic, right.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
So it's possible. Don't lose faith, but
right.
Be braced for everything that's coming. Keep fighting. And you all have a great night.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it very much.
Bye, Mike.
267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. We've got about 6 more minutes here till the bottom of the hour. If the phone rings again, great. If not, we'll say goodbye to you at the bottom of the hour. I think what Mike was mentioning about the Democrats breaking the supermajority in the Mississippi legislature, in the Senate, in the state Senate. I'm hoping, I don't know, and I don't know that Mississippi could probably be any more gerrymandered than it probably is, but one can hope that breaking that supermajority might be enough to stop a redistricting in Mississippi as well. There are Democratic House reps from Mississippi, but they'll try to draw them out if they can. I hope that situation there in the Senate
how many
is enough to
years
stop
can
it.
you be the poorest, most uneducated state in the union
and not do anything about it
and continue
and not
to
try
just
anything
keep
different?
Right. It's like what I don't know if it's always attributed to Einstein. I don't know if it's true or not, but the old saying, if you keep trying, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for a different result.
Right.
Like, that's all you've done in Mississippi
Yeah.
for like the history of ever.
Yeah.
It's time to try something different.
Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we wrap up that maybe we didn't get to? Or anything that you were thinking about coming into tonight that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to talk about yet?
I don't. We hit everything. I mentioned everything I want to. I am just getting started, but I'm going to throw my personal plug out there. I am just now getting started over on Substack. I've got a couple of posts over there. Mostly I talk about trans issues and mountain climbing, but I do some political stuff too. It's transgretchen.substack.com. And that's where you can find me. Most often, I am also on TikTok at Transgretchen, but I haven't been doing much TikTok. It's kind of lost the thrill for me. So I'm trying to focus on something I feel is more productive, and writing is something I've always done really good. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. So you can find me there. Again, Transgretchen is my name. Peak Trans is my game. You can find me over there on Substack.
Did you enjoy your return? Do you miss it?
I've missed it. I've certainly missed it. And I've pondered coming back on my own several times. I just, getting there, getting prepared, sorting things. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still assimilating in my new home. So.
Yeah.
Once I get everything finalized here, get a little bit better lighting, and you can't see because I've got my background blurred, but I mean, like, I'm going to be redecorating my walls here in my bedroom and stuff. So everything will be something I can actually have a background and not use these
filters. Yeah, the filters. Yeah, they get it jumpy.
They do get.
They get a little jumpy. Yeah. I'm glad that I have an actual background here, and of course, I do love my sign. My on-air sign.
I want to put one on the outside.
I do. Outside of it. Well, that's where it's supposed to be, but I mean, it's just Kristen the dog and I here. She knows when I'm on the air. She doesn't need a reminder, but that's why I keep it. That's why I keep it in here, because I think it's just fun. I think it's neat. It was a gift from the in-laws, so I think it's neat.
I'll have to get one.
Anyway,
I've always wanted one.
Sounds like we've done about all the damage we can do for 1 week. We did 90 minutes tonight, which is more than we've done in the past couple of weeks and since our return from our long summer break. George sends his hellos and everything to all of you. He couldn't, and sorry that he couldn't be with us tonight, but of course will be in the future. It's always a better show when George is here with us. But he will return, we hope, next week. George is a man who takes care of his family, almost, like few people you've seen before, and that's what he's been doing the past couple weeks, to take care of the in-laws. So we miss George, and we will welcome him back, of course, we hope, as early as next week. Our plan is to be with you again next week, next The Tuesdays and Thursday shows are just not. I'm not there yet. I'm just literally exhausted. I'm too exhausted. In fact, my sleep schedule has changed to such a point where I'm usually in bed during the time that I would normally be on the air. So not only am I not on the air, I'm usually in bed sometimes before I would normally be scheduled to get on the air. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are just not quite happening quite yet. I think I have a feeling that's gonna drag probably into the new year. Would be my
that's
guess.
Something no one ever told me when I moved out here.
Yeah.
I didn't change time zones. Ohio
Right.
and Massachusetts were all Eastern.
Right.
But nobody told me the sun comes up a whole hour early. So when I first moved here in May, I'm waking up at 5 in the morning, the sun's coming in my window, and the birds are singing. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but now it's dark at 5:30.
It's dark at 4:30.
Right, well,
I mean,
by the time we get toward the shortest day of the year, it'll be dark by 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, they're getting longer now. Right?
Yeah. No, we're
No,
we're still getting shorter.
Yeah, the winter
Shortest day of the
solstice,
year is the
late
winter
December.
solstice. Right, exactly.
Late December.
Anyway, for all of my friends and family at hot101.net, and some of them were texting me during the show that about the telemetry coming out of the software. Trust me, this is the Kennedy effect. Whatever it's saying on your end, trust me, this is the Kennedy effect. It's certainly not one of the DJs. They don't talk as much as I do. I'm the one that does all the talking. And hopefully not boring you all to death. To all of my friends and family at hot101.net, DJ Lex, DJ Earl, Chino, and Waterboy, and everybody, the entire hot101.net family, thank you for allowing me to be part of your week again. The music returns right now. We will be back with you next Sunday from 6 p.m. Maybe Gretchen will be with us. George, I hope, will be with us.
Just reach out.
We will be back with you next week. For right now, from our friends and family at hot101.net, the music returns right now. Until next week, take care of yourselves and each other. For everyone at GCPR, thanks so much for being with us yet again this week. We will be back with you next Sunday. Let me give you the schedule again for the rest of GCPR now. Villain's View tonight. Pre-show probably 8:30. 8:45, somewhere in there. Full throttle, live, full speed, 5-speed, turbocharged show begins at 9 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11. And then your broadcast work week begins tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with Thomas and the Sound of Coffee. We will return to you next Sunday. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other. For everybody at the GCPR family, that's Thomas and Gambit and Gilbert and George and Pastor Clinton and Pastor Best and just and Solid Blue and everybody at GCPR. Thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your broadcast day. I pop into the Sound of Coffee as much as I am capable of doing, given the fact that I have a full-time job. And you probably see me throw in those messages all the time to tune into our show. Well, I'm going to continue to ask you to tune into our show. When you see Thomas tomorrow morning, you tell him I said you come back and see us next Sunday. How about that? Take that, everybody. We'll see you again next Sunday. Thanks, GCPR. Villain's View from 8:30. T. Nathan from 11. Sound of Coffee tomorrow from 8. We'll see you next Sunday. For everybody on our video streaming platforms, thank you so much for being with us and contributing to the show yet again. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. And we will be back with you next Sunday. Until then, for everybody that surrounds I almost said the Villain's View. I was pumping the Villain's View so much, I'm having a brain cramp. For everybody that surrounds the Kennedy effect, that's Lynn and George and Gretchen and Kristen, Days of the Dog, and of course April Riddick. Thank you so much for everything. We appreciate it, and we will see you again next week. Until then, please take care of yourself.